Hello guys and welcome to a new video. Today I will be playing KSP and as the nations, once more, Peloka, if you remember from last episode, which is a nation that I made up for Kerbals. So let's recap. First we had the moon orbit, which was very spectacular, but we also got science and unlocked a lot of new tech upgrades, such as stability. I'll get to that later, but right now we get general construction, and then we get the stability. So with this, we'll be able to move on into further upgrades and science gathering, which we'll start out with right now. Okay, so this is our first launch for today. It'll be a suborbital science contract rocket, and here's a bit of the flight statistics, I guess. It was a pretty short launch. Nothing really happened. It was just suborbital rocketry, I guess. That's really it. And we needed that just for the science that the contract gave us. Okay, we got it. We got the tracking station upgrade, so now we can actually plot maneuvers for our next mission, which will be a orbital rendezvous, I believe. Yes, a rendezvous. In which we'll just go in orbit and meet up with the vessel, and that'll be that. We won't be docking, of course, because we don't have the necessary technology to dock, but besides from that, we're just going into orbit and just gonna meet up. And right now we're launching off with Valentina Kerbin on our rocket, and as you can see, the planet below us is pretty nice with those 2K graphics. And now we're launching Jebediah into space. He will be joining up with Valentina, and I just skipped through all the boring maneuver stuff to just get to the last maneuver, which will be the course correction from my original maneuver. This is how docking works in KSP. If you don't know how it works, I would suggest watching the Scott Manley video. Just search up Scott Manley docking. That's how I found out. Well, actually, it might have also been Matt Lane. I don't know. It doesn't really matter because this is just how you dock. There's a lot of weird no things, but most of you probably do. So anyway, here's us meeting up closer to get the contract done, and we are in visual range of each vessel. And look at that glory shot right there. Pretty nice. And now we are going back down to the surface with each vessel, which was kind of annoying. Well, not really. It was just a bit long, and I was just taking down vessels because I think that KSP 2 did a really good job of like having the descent stage take less time. I think, I don't remember, but it's much better at like handling it. So anyway, let's go on to our next vessel, which has Valentina in it, and now she will be going down to the surface with all the very much science that I've been doing up here. Definitely not just been sitting up in orbit waving at each other the entire time. But anyway, you can see the beautiful Peloka flag for the space agency. It's not really that good. It's not that good, but it is good actually because I love that flag. So anyway, here's us touching down. Do that anyway. But all of these next missions, they failed. You see. All failed. Okay, this one also failed, but it was a different mission. Those other ones were trying to save Kerbals in space, but that one was for the moon. And we fixed the Munar rocket with this one. We're just gonna coast up to space with it now. It's our first lunar orbiter, which will net us a lot of funds as well as get us more. Sorry about that. It'll get us a bit more science, and Or did I already say that? I don't know. It'll get us funds in science. That's what it'll get us. And reputation, I guess, but I don't know what that does. So, anyway, we have plotted our maneuver towards the moon. And here we are burning with the Terrier engine that we have on our top stage, which is very nice for orbital maneuvers, I guess. It's fast, and I guess that's all you really need in an engine, for it to be fast and it to move you. So anyway, this is probably going to be the best orbit that I get of the moon in this episode, but I don't have enough fuel to actually make it a good orbit. It is an orbit, though. I can assure you that. So here is Jebediah getting all of the science. This was mostly just a science mission, and him EVAing and looking at the floor. The floor being the orbital floor, because what else is he gonna look at? So we are burning retrograde so we can enter Kerbin's atmosphere. And here we are making the final descent into enemy territory. Ain't no way. No, I'm just kidding. It's not enemy territory. It's just Sokovia. As you know, it's the quote-unquote Soviet copy that I made. That, well, nobody said that. I'm just quoting myself. It's not really a copy. There's a few differences. It's just that they both have the similar governments, I guess. But anyway, we are touching down in the desert, so we can get some desert science, I guess, which isn't very much, but we need all the science we can get when we have that science debuff. And explosion. I didn't even edit that one in. It was just that magnificent, you know. So here is our science gains being put to work. We are getting just... I think we get the flight control. Yeah, we get the flight control. We get that two-person, two Kerbal command module. And now we are doing some science-dedicated missions. Now, I expected this rocket to be able to be used for more than just low Kerbin orbit, high Kerbin orbit. It doesn't have enough delta V to do anything besides be in Kerbin orbit. But this one actually fails because it doesn't have enough delta V to even get into orbit. And we try to salvage it as much as possible by getting as much science, but you can only really get so much science before you fall down to Kerbin. So I did a daring maneuver to get Bob over there because I accidentally detached the science module, and we didn't get anything, so I didn't have to do that, but I did anyway because I thought I could salvage it a bit. But Bob almost died. Jebediah was safe, but he's Jebediah. You never know what's gonna happen, you know. So anyway, we are landing in Sokovia again. This looks more savanna-y than desert-y, but I don't know. So now we got a bit more science, and we're gonna get something. I don't think we get anything. I don't know why I filmed this part, but I guess it kind of puts you in my seat for a little bit, like how sad I was. And this is our next launch vehicle. So it's the same as our previous, except I added another stage to the bottom, so it'll go up much higher, and it'll actually be able to get into a high Kerbin orbit. But that's really it. That's all it can do. I wanted to get it into like moon orbit, or I wanted to be able to get into moon orbit, but it just doesn't have enough delta V. It's just too much weight, but too little thrust, or not thrust, fuel to push it. No, it's not the fuel pushing, it's the engine pushing, but fuel to fuel the engine, you know. So anyway, it ran out of power after I did all the science, and I had to wait until the engine was in a position as to which I could burn retrograde-ish and get into the atmosphere, which was kind of annoying, but it doesn't really matter. But I can't control my descent, but thank the Kraken that I can do this and get that amazing picture, and that the crafts can just glide down to the surface without having to be maneuvered through, you know. But anyway, we are going to be touching down. I think I just sped up the entire mission because it's just the same thing as the other mission, except that I actually did stuff in orbit, but nothing really remarkable besides just collecting a bit of imagery science. So here we are getting more science, and we are going to be getting fuel tanks because we have the necessary engines to lift them, I guess. So what I did is I kind of made a similar rocket to what I did before, but now I have more fuel and more engines. So here are the solid rocket boosters being dumped off. In our first stage I didn't talk about, but it had like 4 of those swivel engines, and our second stage has 1 swivel engine, and then it just gets dumped off. It's not a very remarkable stage. I've made similar stages, but this one has the Pug engine, which is a modded engine, I believe. I think I talked about it in this episode. It's the one that's like the spark engine, and that glory shot was magnificent in my opinion. But anyway, now we are moving towards the moon, maneuvering towards the moon actually. I removed all that tedious maneuver planning because from what I've heard it is pretty god awful. I'm quoting that is maneuvering or seeing other people maneuver. And also this maneuver was kind of weird because it took 2 orbits for me to actually get an encounter with the moon. There we are, burning retrograde to cull our velocity. I like saying cull our velocity. It sounds cool. But anyway, now we are taking pictures of the surface, and soon we will be doing some of that Science Junior. Very soon. I already did. Wait, yeah, I already did it. What am I talking about? So anyway, we'll try to get as much science as we can before I know that we'll run out of electricity in the near future. Which I think electricity is more of a problem, and I think I get electricity researched at the end of this video. But anyway, we are going to Kerbal, and after taking a few more pictures, and oh, we got a new one. New picture of Kerbin, which I should have got with my previous science mission. So now we are navigating down into Kerbin's atmosphere. I almost died there. Yeah, we are navigating pretty close to Peloka, which is pretty cool. I would have loved to land near Peloka, but I don't think the Kerbal constructs work. Which you need to be next to your... It's like a mod where you add launch sites and you have to be near it. But anyway, now that the video is coming to an end, I would like to say goodbye and stick around to my channel. Subscribe, like, see ya.
Hast desem ko ulti proveali per panes negak slimer saksnaistera. Hast desem bero palete war pakole pet shukanda tasiri test desete davn. Oni shvo panina telson shvaziwa. Pak, ono muk na sede uzina do damer sadal vot kos jede simish timish. Hat sedanja risna vot semenot kosamit sumit kau keder panu za kopit nem kodik snaistera. Sunim sven na kolekcik nam rekalo kingo.